Hi everybody, Linda Carroll here from my studio, Gatherer of Great Things. And it's been a while since I have made a video. I took a little break after finishing the second steampunk journal and did my Christmas shopping and finished all of that up. We have to get things together early this year because we have to ship everything. We're not traveling up north for Christmas this year. So I am sitting down today on Sunday and doing a collage video. I've had a number of my subbies ask, when are you going to go back to your collage art journals? And so today's the day to kind of get me back into my art journals. I decided to do one of the collage challenges from Margarete Miller, and I'm on number 16 for 2020, and I had to find a number of things to put into this collage. Now I have boxes and drawers and little containers like this filled with pieces to use in collages, but I limited myself looking for the objects for this particular collage to this little box that I keep mostly stamps in and that type of thing, and this box that I keep, most of this is leftovers from the last couple of journals that I did that I use in collage. And then I had a bag of, let's see, what did I do with it? I must have already put it away. I had a bag of little snips of things that I let myself go through. Well, no, I didn't put it away. It's just not back in the bag yet. But this is the pile of stuff that I had that I let myself go through and find pieces for this particular collage. And the way it turned out, the color palette on this one was influenced by the color palette on the last page I did in this art journal. So I found myself gravitating towards neutral colors and gold and some blue and a touch of red. You know, and it's kind of funny how that works out. How when you have something on your table, the pieces that call to you seem to work together with that piece that you're looking at. So before I get started, I want to say I hope everybody's doing well. Everybody here at my home, and there's just the two of us, we're doing great. Staying home most of the time. We have a very small group of people that we do get together and see. There may be 4 people in that group, but they are also pretty much staying at home and taking care of themselves. So I hope you all are doing the same and that you stay safe throughout the holidays. Okay, let's get back to this journal page. And I had to find something that dangles, something that starts with the letter J, a piece of a letter or note, a schematic, and then I need to use a rubber stamp to make a stamping in any color but black. So I'm going to talk about the different things that I found, and then I'll talk about the layout here. Something that dangles, and a lot of things came to mind when I read that particular phrase. But what I found was this picture from a gardening catalog, and actually a gardening book, and it's a seed from a sweet gum tree. So that's my thing that dangles. Something that starts with the letter J, and that one was really, really difficult. I was surprised how few things I could find that started with the letter J. So I had to go back into my world when I spoke French, and when I saw this little girl that I believe I've used before in some of my journals, the French word jeune fille came, and I'm mispronouncing it, but my French is kind of rusty. It has been over 50 years since I took French, but it came to mind, and I thought that'll work. This little girl, or jeune fille in French, will be my J. A piece of a letter or note, and I have the piece up here. It's actually notes in a ledger that satisfy that item. A schematic, and I was looking through an old almanac, and I found this piece, and it's actually a schematic for a prop used in a magic act where this person disappears inside of this coffin because it flips over, and I guess they would put daggers in it or something. And I thought that was very strange, but also very interesting at the same time. And because of the colors, worked really well in this particular collage. And then a rubber stamping, I know I have rubber stamps that I always use, so that won't be a problem. So when I started this particular collage, I started with those pieces. This piece, sweet gum tree, this little girl, this coffin, and what was the other one that I had? Oh, this piece out of a ledger. And so I started pulling pieces that kind of worked within the collage. I found these frames that are quite decorative, so I fussy cut those out. And this pen actually came from the same children's book. Then I found this butterfly that worked really well with the color scheme. And because it's Christmas time and I've been working hard trying to get all my gifts together and decorating the house, I found this Christmas stamp that picks up all the rest of the colors in the collage. So that would be perfect. And then in the background, I decided to use some the poems from a book by Rod McEwen that I found in a secondhand store. I have all of his poetry. I just fell in love with him back in the late 60s and have all of his books. But I found a duplicate in a secondhand store, so I do use his words in my collages. And I found a little postcard and some music book. So I started playing with all these pieces, and this is the preliminary layout that I came up with that I think is very pleasing, although it's very busy, much like the one on the previous page. But I definitely have a focal point of this little girl, and she's kind of looking up at this butterfly, and I really like the movement created through this page with all the different elements. I have my 3 gold pieces in the pen and the 2 frames, so that also kind of keeps your eye moving around. And then I have the 3 pieces of poetry that on the second round, it keeps your eyes kind of moving around. And then I think all the colors that I chose to work with, mostly neutral colors, pull this collage together. So thanks to Margarete Miller for this challenge. I do enjoy her work and appreciate the challenge so that she does and posts. I'll put a link down below. She posts it on her Facebook group, and you can, and also on her website, you can find a link to her challenges. I always enjoy working with them. And so let's get started gluing this down in place. And I rearranged my area where I sit, my table, after I finished the last journal, so that almost everything that I work with is within a hand's reach, and I'm finding it's really working out really well. So let's see, where do I want to start? I think when I originally laid this out, I had the little girl over here, and I did not have this poem torn in half, but it was really, to me, it was really off balance. So when I moved her over here and tore the poem in half, it really brought the whole collage together. And I think you can really see the difference. And I've played back and forth with this pen, whether I want to put the pen vertical like this, or if I want to put it on a slant like that. But I've decided, since I already have this little frame on a slant, that I want to keep it vertical, and it kind of works, you know, kind of covering up this intersection of these pieces right here, which to me, it really needed to be joined all together in a seamless way. And putting the pen like that really does work. So because there's so many pieces, let's try working from the top down and see what happens on this piece. I really like this layout, and I took a picture of it. Unfortunately, the picture's on my camera, which I'm using to video. So let's just start gluing down and see what happens. I'm just using a glue stick, and I just love her face. I just think she is so pretty. So I framed her face and pretty much repeated the slant of her eyes and head and eyebrows there. And then I wanted this little butterfly to kind of be sitting here on the corner of the frame. So I'm going to just put him down here. And then I had this stamp, and I know you're aware, I'm always looking at edges and corners and things and making sure that I'm joining things together by, you know, overlapping and then overlapping again with pieces that will kind of unite my images together. And then let's put this pen down, because it's a small element, but it's really important to this piece to, I want to make sure my poem is straight. It's really important to this piece to really cover up those little edges and pull everything together. And then underneath I have this part of the poem that I want to. Now, I covered up all of the page text except for the page numbers up in the corner. Let's see here. Yeah. There we go. And I want to keep those page numbers because added together as it comes up to number 5, which is an important number for me. So I'm going to keep that there. Okay, let's go ahead and work up here in this corner. And you know, I often take a piece that I really like, and then I'll tear it in half and I'll put it on either side of another image. And it really, number one, it helps to frame the image. And number two, it also serves to join the pieces together. So let's see here. Now I could see the word sweet gum in my layout. the word "and" up there showing a little bit, but I think that's okay. I'll make sure my text is straight. Okay. And now this piece. Okay. Let's get this piece down. Okay. This piece, slide down just a little bit. All right, let's get this piece down. I rarely work from top to bottom, but because I had a lot of little fiddly pieces in this, I thought it would be a good idea. Make sure all of my text is in the right direction. And as okay. joined together. Let's glue this one down. I want to make sure this little edge right up here on top is showing, so we can see that layer. Okay. Now this piece, I want to be able to see the word child, or at least the majority of it. So if I put that there, and this I have here. I don't want to cover up her face, lady in the postcard. Okay, I think we're good there. This glued down. It's a pretty big area. I love layering. I think, layering text and layering textures, and it not only gives you a wonderful visual, but it's very tactile too. I know I need to cover this little edge up here, but I don't want to cover the child's face. I kind of want to make sure that, you know, all these little edges here are considered and if they need to be there or not. And I've decided they don't. And this piece, it just seems to well, it repeats this handwriting here. And it also kind of finishes off this area right here. So when I laid this out, I have to say it took me a while, which is why I decided not to videotape it, to arrange and rearrange all of these pieces so that it was pleasing to my eye. And story is, which I don't think has totally made itself known yet to me. So getting this story told okay, now I go back in and make sure all of my edges are glued down. And the piece is secure. Okay. I really like the composition. It is busy, but I definitely have a focal point here in this little girl. And I believe you can see the story developing of her, kind of like her life. Although there is a lot of sadness and things that were magical to her that she didn't quite understand. You know, if I had to make up a story, there would be some things that happened in her life that the end of the story is kind of dangling, like this sweet gum seed pod from this little limb. And here she could possibly be grown up in this postcard right here. I don't know if you can see her really clearly, but this coffin is pointing right to her. And then the Christmas stamp again is the mother and child image, and this is my little nod to the fact that it is Christmas time this time of year. Obviously about this little girl who becomes a woman, and it probably has a lot to do with my life here. So that's the story that's happening. Let's see what else I need in here. I'm supposed to do some stamping in any color but black. And I have this stamp that I love. I use a lot, as you can tell, that has a little postmark here that I might go over the top of that postmark. And have a little tiny Versacolor pad here. Perfect. So I have my 3 reds here that surrounds my focal point right here. I don't think I want to use any more of the stamping. I think that's enough. This is just getting to the point where it's ready to, I think, make tags from. So, get that in its place. Now, do I want to add any washi tape or any shading to this one? Or any outlining? I like in this one the numbers of layers that I have. Like in this area right here, we have the page, we have the poem, we have the little girl, we have the stamp, we have the postcard, we have the coffin and the frame. So it's like her life is building one piece at a time and overlays the time before it. So I think it's a good story. This is a narrative collage. It tells a story, and I think they're probably my favorite type of collage to do at this point. And what I most enjoy is that the collage tells the story. I didn't intentionally start out with the idea that I was going to tell a story about a little girl growing into a woman. But that's just the way it came together. And, you know, I'm sure that as I look at this, more of the story will start coming forward. So I might have to do a little writing about that. But I do like the way it's come about, and I did satisfy all of my prompts from Margarete Miller's prompt sheet. I have something that dangles. I have something that starts with the letter J. I have a piece of letter or note. I have a schematic. I have the rubber stamp in red. And I think I've fulfilled my goal of this particular collage challenge. So I'm going to call this done. I know everybody's doing Christmassy things right now, and I've been going back and forth trying to decide what it is that I want to do. I'm going to be really busy over the next 2 weeks, so you probably won't see a lot of me. So I'm not going to do a daily Christmas thing or anything like that, but I will pop in now and then and show you what I happen to be up to. I'm going to be making 3 gifts, and I might let you have a little peek of those for my Christmas contribution. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little journey back into my art journal, my collage art journal, and I hope you have a great rest of your day or evening. Many blessings to you. Bye for now.